Welcome back to another video of fun facts, and we are going into doing The Last of Us. I just restarted watching the series. Do not, if you guys have seen The Last of Us Part 2, the game version, please, obviously because there's no season 2 yet, please do not say anything of what happens. Nathan and my boyfriend and I were still trying to finish it. So we're going to keep going with fun facts of the show. Since who was it? He was the Emmy winner the other night. We're gonna look this up. It was he was the one who created that whole little town for him and his future man there. Nick Offerman. For some reason I was thinking his name was Rob. I don't know why. Nick Offerman is the one who won, so we'll do the fun facts. So let's get into it. Number 1, the show is very true to the video game. With a few exceptions, the Tomb Raider franchise comes to mind. Adaptations of video games don't tend to fare very well. By all accounts, though, this one is different. The Last of Us is a tight adaptation, determinedly true to the video game. Because that game happens to be driven by narrative and character development. However, the adaptation already feels more natural. This is not a situation akin to, say, Jake Gyllenhaal having to mimic video game parkour in Prince of Persia. It's simply a drama brought to life. The fungus is real, sort of. Number 2, as you find out in the Shadow's opening minutes, the premise underlying the zombie outbreak in The Last of Us is that a fungus capable of hijacking insects' motor functions evolves to infect humans. Thankfully, this is a mostly unrealistic concept, as is the notion that people would turn into malicious zombies if in fact the fungus could infect us, but the actual fungus cordyceps is quite real. It can in fact hijack the minds of ants. Number 3, the whole idea stemmed from planet Earth. Further emphasizing that cordyceps is real is the fact that it first gained public attention via the Planet Earth documentary series. This series depicted the fungus acting on an ant and is said to have inspired one Neil Druckmann to create the original video game. Mind you, once again, cordyceps is no actual threat to us. It is used in certain medicines and even in some coffee alternatives people drink for morning energy. If you hear the dogs barking, it's probably because they're going on a walk, so I do apologize for that. Number 4, the seasons of the show are tied to individual games, not counting remastered versions of original titles. There are essentially two of the Last of Us video games, along with one significant DLC pack. Every indication is that the show will be structured to match these games. Season 1 covers the game The Last of Us, as well as story elements from the DLC, titled The Last of Us Left Behind. The second season will then concern the events of The Last of Us Part 2, and as disclosed by Neil Druckmann, the third season will also encompass events from the second game. Number 5, the stars are Game of Thrones veterans. This fact about the show is a pretty obvious one. There are plenty of recognizable faces in The Last of Us, and that's because show co-leads Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are recognizable Game of Thrones characters. Pascal played the enigmatic Prince Oberyn, Martell, and Ramsey was the precocious Lyanna Mormont. Both were fan favorites and died pretty gruesome deaths. Okay. Number 6, the greenery. One of the most fascinating aspects of both the game and the show is the use of greenery throughout. In a world ravaged by explosive or some, I don't know if I can say the word, and unalived. There was a nice juxtaposition between the QZ and the rest of the country. According to the creators, they took inspiration from the book The World Without Us to show that the world will continue to grow and thrive even without humans. That's really good to hear. Would humans ever come back, though? I know every species will become extinct at one point in a life, but is there a chance for reproduction for humans? I'm just curious if you think of that, what you think of that. Also, I have a question for you guys. Ellie's arm. So when you cut into like the beginning, the girl who was the doctor who was trying to figure out what was going on. But if you cut into that infection, you see all that fungus in their skin. Would that, if you say you cut open Ellie's bitten arm, would you see the fungus or would you see like her just bodily parts? Just curious. Or I mean bodily fluids. So number 7 is Jurassic Park. One of the most memorable scenes from season 1 finally was when Joel and Ellie interacted with a giraffe and then watched it join in its small herd. This scene was also a favorite of fans when the game first came out. According to the game's creators, this scene was inspired by the scene in Jurassic Park when the main characters first get to the park and see the Brachiosaurus roaming in the open. Number 8, can't get enough. Fans of the game know that the story of Season 1 was adapted entirely from The Last of Us Part 1 and the Left Behind DLC. According to the show's creator, the adaptation of Part 2 will be split into 2 seasons to make sure that they were covering everything. There are rumors that The Last of Us Part 3 may be on the way, which will also mean more seasons. Oh, that'd be kind of nice. I saw what happened in the second one so far, and I'm not happy about it. Anyways, number 9, don't play the game. Bella told Entertainment Tonight that she and Pedro were advised, encouraged, and ordered to stay away from the game. Neither actor listened, and they both attempted to play the game but realized they were not very good at it. So why were they advised not to play? Wouldn't that help with their characters? The inside jokes. Ellie turns to a book of puns in an attempt to lighten the mood as she and Joel are making their way across the country. According to Bella, these puns became stale very quickly, so they turned to inside jokes to make Pedro laugh. Number 11, Game Meet Show. Fans of the game were quick to notice all the voice actors that made an appearance in the show. Troy Baker, who voiced Joel, appeared in episode 8 as James. Ashley Johnson, who voiced Ellie, appeared in the season 1 finale. Oh yes, I remember. Okay. As Ellie's mom, Anna, and Meryl Dandridge, who voiced Marlene, reprised to her role in the show, and Jeffrey Pierce, who voiced Tommy, appeared in episodes 4 and 5 as Perry. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we will continue to see this trend in upcoming seasons. What number was I on? I'm going to go with 12. So their relationship. It is no secret that Pedro and Bella became very close on set. The two are constantly raving about each other in their interviews and are seen hanging out wherever they are together. According to Pedro, his favorite scenes to film were when they were on a horse and it was a wide shot. This allowed them to just hang out and talk since the camera couldn't pick up anything they were saying. This definitely translates on screen with the amazing father-daughter chemistry between the two. Okay, and breathe. That line in an interview with HBO Max, the original voice of Joel, Troy Baker, explains where the line "baby girl" in episode 8 came from. Being from the South, Baker was used to this term of endearment, and when filming a scene where he carried Sarah to bed, he slipped up and added "baby girl." After telling her goodnight, the director loved it so much that he decided to keep the line and add it in the moment after Ellie escapes James and runs into Joel's arms. Pascal and Ramsey both wanted their Westeros outfits for this series. So number 14. Amusingly, in a joint interview about The Last of Us, both Pascal and Ramsey indicated that they'd like to have their Game of Thrones wardrobe along with them. Fielding a question about what items they'd want from their goatee set, Pascal indicated that he'd like his gold-hued robe, and Ramsay longed for their old armor. And then lastly, it cost a lot to make it. There are a bunch of pricey TV shows out there, and The Last of Us ranks among them. According to The New Yorker, HBO gave the series a budget exceeding that of each of the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. Well, the GOT having a budget of approximately $6 million, seasons 1 to 5 per episode, that makes us think The Last of Us probably cost around $10 million mark. Even Screen Rat believes the entire season cost around $100 million. Holy! That's a lot just for a movie, or a show, I guess. Anyways, I get so winded talking, so I gotta take breaks in between, or else, it's hard. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Actually, let me know what you thought of The Last of Us. Please don't spoil anything of what happens in The Last of Us Part 2, because I'm almost done. We are almost done, but we haven't finished it yet, and I want to know what happens, but by the show, not by anyone to spoil it. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye now.